to a brand new lesson.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are going to start with something brand new for Madison because Madison's going to be in third grade when school starts back. And third grade, of course, is the year of the Georgia milestones. And no matter where you are in the nation, third grade is typically when you start taking standardized testing. And one of the things that standardized tests ask you to do, and life asks you to do, is write paragraphs. And so we're going to talk about a foolproof way to write a paragraph. It's easy. It helps kids really stay focused. Whether you love writing or you detest writing, this has proven to really help kids. I also want to apologize because simultaneous to this video recording, I have a son who's practicing guitar and piano. I have a son who's on a call without headphones, and I have a daughter who's on a call without headphones. So you might hear lots of things going on, and we hope that you can hear us just the same, because I know you're dealing with the same wonderful things at your house. But anyway, first thing we have to do before we write anything, now this is for informative writing or persuasive writing. So if you're informing someone, Madison, that means you're giving them information. That makes sense, right? Inform, information, pretty easy to remember. If you're informing someone, you're writing an informative paper, then you're giving them information. So if I say, Madison, describe, explain, she's tired. She needs to go to bed earlier at night, doesn't she?
No,
yeah,
no.
I think so.
No, I need to do that later.
We'll write a persuasive essay about that later. But Madison, if I'm informing you, then I'm using verbs like explain, describe, okay? If I am persuading you, I'm using verbs like convince, persuade, okay? So if I were doing this in a typical third grade classroom, I'd spend some time talking about different genres of writing. Yes, Madison?
Second example for persuade is that Brendan, another one of our brothers, he always tries to persuade Hallie to read his books.
Yes.
And also we all try to persuade Dad to get in a puppy.
This is all true. Ooh, that should be the one we write. Persuade Daddy to write a puppy. We'll do that later. Yeah. Okay. But right now, we're just talking about genre. Okay. So before we ever write, we have to GITA. So you guys may know I am referred to as
GITA lady!
the GITA lady. I need to move Foxy. Sorry.
Her name's Roxy.
Roxy, Foxy, it's all good. Okay. So I am known as the GITA lady, and the reason I'm known as the GITA lady because that's the first step in any kind of writing process is to GITA the prompt. Okay, we use GITA like it's a verb. We GITA the prompt, which means we read the prompt and then we GITA what to do with it. So before we got onto this call, I took Madison on a website called NewsELA. It's NEWSELA.com. If you have not ventured to this website, please do. I absolutely love it as a teacher and as a mom, and right now it's free. It's usually not free at all. It's very expensive for educators to get all of the lessons available there, but it's free right now, and it is fabulous. So I took her on, and I took her to the kids section, and I told her to pick any news article that she wanted to learn about. And so she picked one. I'm going to show it to you. She picked this one. Okay, it's a News ELA article, and it says, the newest Muppet on Sesame Street is a girl named Julia who has autism. So Madison picked this, so that means she wants to learn about it, and that's the way we always want to go. Also on News ELA, there's always a 4-question quiz and 1 writing prompt to go with every single article. And also, if you go on News ELA, in the upper right-hand corner of the website, there's a drop-down menu, and you can choose the Lexile number for the article. And if you have a third grader, you probably want to choose the lowest Lexile offered. And if you have a 4th or 5th grader, you can go up and so forth and so on until it gets to the maximum level, which would be like a high school level reading the article. It's pretty awesome. There's like 5 different levels that you can pick to read it on.
Just to tell you, I don't watch Sesame Street. And I just, she looks pretty, and she's probably the most prettiest one in Sesame Street because when I was little, I watched it, and also I remember Charlotte watching it like a week ago.
There you have it, folks. Very important information. So anyway, you don't have to do anything. You just go find an article your kid wants to read. You select the reading level you think your kid is. You can just guess. You can email me and tell me what age your kid is, and I can give you an approximate Lexile number. Or you can ask your kid's teacher, who probably knows exactly what your kid's Lexile number is. And then you can generate an article for him or her to read. So this one said, it said describe or explain. Actually, I think it said explain, right? It said explain the central idea of the article and use details to support it. That's our prompt. Explain the central idea. So Madison, let's talk about GITA. For GITA, the G stands for genre, okay? So what we're asking there, Madison, is if this is asking you to write a narrative, an informational paragraph or a persuasive paragraph. So if if the question asks you to explain something, are they asking you to inform, to persuade, or to entertain? Huh? That wasn't one of the options. They ask you to explain, right?
Yeah.
So are they asking you to inform us about something?
Inform.
Yes. So so inform, she said perform, but she meant inform. Inform, persuade, or entertain, which would be narrative. I need you to stop with the animals, okay? We're gonna have to end the call. Sorry, folks, I can't take it anymore. So that's the first thing she has to do is establish the genre, and she said that this was going to be informative. Now, I know that was quick, and if I were teaching a class, we would spend a whole day, mini lesson on informative versus persuasive versus narrative, but we're gonna plow through today. The I stands for important information in the prompt, okay? The prompt is the question, Madison. So there's a lot of kids think that we're talking about important information in the article. We haven't even read the article yet, right? We do this before we read the article. We've only read the prompt. So this is important information in the prompt. The reason this is here is because when I would go through kids' papers, Madison, I would look to see what they read. Kids who were really smart and great writers would score really low because they didn't answer all the parts of the question.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
So you have to really pay attention to the question. You have to know exactly what it's asking you. Sometimes it'll ask for one detail. Sometimes it'll ask for two. Sometimes it'll ask for three.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be three details, and she thought, and like there's one detail that has like three parts in it, so you can get really confused by that.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about how to pull that out in just a second. The T stands for your topic sentence. Okay. Now you can't write the entire topic sentence yet, maybe because you haven't read the article.
Wait. Just to tell you, my mom taught me this. Topic sentence, and it's an explanation, and it's an explanation.
She's getting ahead of the game. We're going to talk about that in a separate session, but yes, she's obviously ready. Okay, so topic sentence. You can't answer it yet because you don't know the central idea, but you can start the topic sentence. So we'll do that in a second. And A stands for audience. Okay, so for just a second, I'm going to take this. Where'd my eraser go, Miss Madison? Here it is.
Yeah, it's right there.
So I'm going to take this off because, So I just want to hold this up for you. So if you didn't already know what GITA stood for, this is what GITA stands for. Genre, important information from the prompt, topic sentence, and audience, okay? There's a great song that goes with this too. We'll teach you sometime. Okay, let's get back, please. Okay, so Madison, can you erase everything except GITA, okay? Not this right here, but all the other words. So now we're gonna go through her prompt. You gotta be quick. Go straight down. No, not the G. The dots are fine, yep. There we go, awesome, awesome. And that, okay, good. So now the genre of our prompt, Madison already told us, was informative. So we would write here. So this would be something. So by the way, when I do this with kids, we spend another entire day just GITA-ing prompts. In other words, I give the kids a list of about 10 different prompts, and they go through and they just try to GITA every single prompt, okay? And so that's an example of what we would do for an entire day so they can get used to this process. So everything we're doing here typically is step by step. Madison, can you go close that curtain right there so we don't have a glare on our board, please? And now the I stands for important information from the prompt. Our prompt said, explain the central idea of the passage and give 3 details to support it. So Madison, what would you say is important in what that prompt just said?
Important of what?
The prompt says, explain the central idea and give 3 details to support it. So what would you say is important in that question to remember?
Explain.
Okay, you need to remember that it said that you're to explain. That gives me what I do. Okay, and what am I going to explain?
The 3 details.
No.
The details.
No. What did they tell you to explain?
Can you say it again?
Explain the central idea of the passage.
Explain the central idea
Yes.
of the passage.
So you have to know, and by the way, we don't write in complete sentences here. We just write down words. Central idea. So if I don't know what that means, so Madison, what does central idea mean?
Central idea means the main idea.
Yes, the main idea of the entire passage. Okay. Okay, that's the purpose. The author's purpose in writing is usually the central idea. What does the author want you to learn or know after reading this? Okay, so you have to explain the central idea, okay? And how many details, Madison?
3.
3. You have to have 3 details. So
So
I'm not going to get a very good grade if I only use 1 detail or 2 details. I have to have 3 things from the article that support my central idea. My topic sentence is I always restate the question and then answer it. So the question is, Madison, the question is, what is the central idea? So how would I restate that into a sentence?
The central idea is the main idea of the topic.
You don't want to give the definition. It's saying what is the central idea of this passage. So you're going to start out the central idea of the passage is blank. Okay? No, that's they. Okay. All right, sit down, Madison. All right, the central idea of the passage is blank. All right, so she knows now. Why is it so important, do you think, Madison, that we wrote this before we've even read the passage? Why do you think it's so important that we already know the beginning of our topic sentence before we even read the passage?
So you know what to do first.
Exactly, and so you know what you're looking for, right? So we know we're looking for the central idea, and we know we're looking for 3 details to support it. So while we read, we have a purpose. So this really helps us read with purpose. We can underline.
Yeah, because at school, your teacher, she always sometimes she'll always read you the first part to give you like a little intro on what you're learning about and what you're looking for and what you're about to do.
Hey.
Like what my teacher, Miss Hart, does.
Yes, I love that. So now your audience. So your audience is who you're writing to. And if the prompt didn't give us an audience, and anytime the prompt doesn't give us an audience, I tell my kids to write down teacher, okay? Because teacher can be your audience if your prompt doesn't give you an audience, because that means you're writing with your formal language. So if Madison had been told that her audience was her 6-year-old sister, she would use different language. She would write in really simple terms. But because her audience is going to be her teacher, which it always is if it doesn't say anything differently, she's going to use her highest vocabulary and her best absolute writing.
Or right now, instead of your teacher, it could be your mom or your dad.
Yeah, very good. So this is how you get a prompt. You read the prompt, and then you decide based on the prompt, what's the genre, what's important information from the prompt that I need to make sure I follow, how can I start my topic sentence that I'll later finish once I read the article, and who is my audience, who's going to read my answer. Okay, so this concludes our section 1. So what would happen now is Madison's going to take some time to read the passage, and as she reads the passage, I'm going to ask her to underline or highlight anything that might be the central idea of the passage or a detail that she could use. So at the beginning, I like to use really short passages, and I like to tell kids first, read the whole passage and don't do anything at all. After you've done that, you ask yourself, what was this mainly about? So she'll probably be able to figure out the central idea. Then she goes back and reads it a second time, and she underlines details that support that central idea. Then she goes back and she's going to star the 3 details that she thinks most represent the central idea. So later on, we don't do this. We can just read the passage one time. But at the beginning, when we're learning how to annotate text and we're learning how to write with support from the text, we do it this way. So again, pick a short passage. One time you just read it. Then you ask yourself, what was this mainly about?
Check.
Then you go back through and you underline anything that you think might support that central idea. And then the third thing you do is you star the 3 details you decide that you're going to use in your answer, because those are the 3 details that best support the central idea. All right, so we're going to read the article, and right now we're going to stop our video. We'll pick up with part 2 in a moment. But and you might want to read the same one and then come back to us and find our second video. So you can easily Google this and find this online, or go to newsela.com and find it, and we'll be back soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye.